Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying an action thriller film, entitled Sniper: Assassin's End. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. It is set up that a special ops sniper is the major suspect for killing a foreign dignitary just before the signing of a high-profile trade deal with the US. After narrowly avoiding death, Beckett discovers that the government may be harboring a dark operative and teams up with the one person he can trust, his father, the famed sniper Sergeant Thomas Beckett. The movie begins with Yuki Mifune, a Yakuza-trained assassin, watching a live news report about Bruno Diaz. Diaz is a foreign dignitary who is currently in Washington, D.C. as he is about to sign an agreement together with the U.S. president to lift the trade embargo between two nations, Costa Verde and the USA. Diaz stands in front of a lectern and is ready to begin his speech. Before he can utter a word, Mifune squeezes the trigger and hits Diaz in the head. A noisy brouhaha ensues after the incident while Mifune leaves her position. Her mission has been completed. Agent John Franklin is on a phone call with the Secretary of State when Agent Juliet Clover comes in to let him know that a primary suspect of the shooting has been identified. His name is Brandon Beckett, who's been detected to fly in and out of Costa Verde within hours of the attack. Franklin then orders Agent Sarah Peterson to send a private team to Beckett's house. Beckett is playing a video game while on vacation. This is his first vacation in 5 years. Unbeknownst to him, he just became a suspect in an assassination and is about to get arrested. He hears a helicopter hovering over, and then his door explodes, and armed men storm in. He is then taken into custody. Mifune reports that he's been arrested a few meters from his house. She is tasked to eliminate him and make it appear that he committed suicide. That is now out of the question. The second option is to take out his convoy once he is on his way to a holding facility. At a CIA safe house, Franklin interrogates Beckett, who denies the allegation. Franklin points out that they have his DNA, flight record, and the motive to carry out the attack. Franklin is convinced that he did it. His other concern is to know if Beckett's dad, Thomas Beckett, is also involved. Beckett denies that they are behind the killing. The interrogation gets interrupted as Homeland Security agent Zeke Rosenberg comes in and asks to speak with Beckett. Rosenberg assures him that he will base his judgment on facts. He warns Beckett that he will be transported to a black site, and if he is found guilty, it will be bad for him. Beckett guarantees him that he is innocent. Franklin comes back in and orders his men to take Beckett out. A member of a Russian mob is contracted to ambush the vehicle carrying Beckett. While speaking to someone on the phone, he demands money up front. As the agreement is finalized, he prepares his team. Rosenberg approaches Clover. She confirms that she was the one who discovered the evidence. Rosenberg lets her know that someone he respects so much does not believe that Beckett carried out the assassination. Clover shows him the video of the assassination and explains how they could pinpoint the shooter's location. The shot was done from more than 1 mile away. She is convinced that only someone with Beckett's skill set can pull something like that off. Rosenberg agrees with her. He then points out one person on the screen that seems to not belong there. He's Donald South, the Novosil Pharmaceutical Company CEO. Meanwhile, a group of Russian assassins is tailing the vehicle that is carrying Beckett. Beckett knows that something is up and tells the officers with him that they are being followed. They refuse to listen to him. Moments later, a truck blocks their way while the one tailing them closes in. The driver tries to get away but ends up being leveled by the other truck. The Russians begin to fire at Beckett's car as a precautionary measure. Both of the cops were shot and died in the line of duty. Beckett gets the key to his handcuffs and manages to escape. He then grabs 2 handguns and waits for the 2 Russians to approach. He kills one of them and injures the other. From a distance, Mifune sees everything that just happened. As Beckett is about to drive the vehicle, she aims for him but misses. He manages to escape. She then sets his sight on the Russian that survived and kills him. In California, Rosenberg follows Donald South. He appears to be on a date with someone other than his wife. Rosenberg approaches their table and demands attention from South. His date leaves, and Rosenberg takes her seat. He explains that he just wants to know what he was doing at the stage when the assassination happened. South explains that he's been an advocate for lifting the embargo. He further adds that his pharmaceutical company is on the verge of being absorbed by Ficus Industries. He suggests that Rosenberg follow the money as they might be the one behind the assassination to prevent the lifting of the embargo from materializing. Peterson informs Franklin that Beckett has been ambushed and that a Russian mob is involved. She also adds that one of their men was killed by a sniper. Franklin believes that it might have been Beckett's father trying to save him. He orders his team to look for both as the vehicle that transported Beckett has just been found. Beckett attempts to steal a car, but 2 police officers can catch him. Getting arrested is not an option, so he fights them off and manages to escape. He carnaps a vehicle nearby and demands the driver to take him somewhere. In California, Rosenberg tells Clover that there might be a mole from their department for the transport vehicle to be ambushed. He is convinced that he's Beckett's only hope, especially now that Franklin believes that Beckett is guilty. He asks if she finds something on Ficus. Clover tells Rosenberg that an accountant at Ficus Industries tried to access a restricted area that sounded the alarm. The police came, but they were not allowed to get in. Rosenberg asks for the name of the accountant and proceeds to look for him in Vancouver. Josh Strayhorn is the accountant's name. Rosenberg arrives in Vancouver. He is welcomed by Drake Phoenix, the head of security at Ficus. Rosenberg is told that Strayhorn is sick and that the incident about Strayhorn tripping the alarm is no big deal as it was a matter of an accident. Strayhorn was drunk and went to the wrong floor. Beckett leaves the car at a parking lot and gets into the back of a cargo truck. He then meets his dad at a remote location and informs him that he's been set up. Rosenberg asks Clover to check what he can find about Phoenix. There is no record of him on file. Franklin finds out that Clover is communicating with Rosenberg about Ficus. He wants her to focus on finding Beckett. Once Franklin leaves, Clover sends the name of the Russian who survived as well as the location of the hospital he is admitted. Rosenberg goes to the hospital and is stopped by a security guard. He shows his badge and is permitted to get it. The doctor tells him that the Russian is only a few hours out of surgery. Rosenberg demands that the patient be awakened as he's a suspect in an assassination. When the Russian wakes up, Rosenberg begins the interrogation. He wants to know who hired him. Refusing to cooperate, Rosenberg presses his gun against his fresh wound of the Russian. The Russian screams in pain and explains that the person who called him is using a voice changer. He sounds like there's a helicopter behind him as well. Rosenberg knows he needs to dig deeper. Franklin and his team are gathering evidence from Beckett's house. Rosenberg joins them. Peterson finds a birthday card his dad left with coordinates in it. They leave Rosenberg while they track down the location. Rosenberg sees a photo of Beckett with his comrades in the military. He takes a picture and sends it to Clover, who then confirms that one of them is Drake Phoenix, whose name was Clark McConnell. He was wanted for war crimes, but he supposedly died 5 years ago. Rosenberg tracks down Strayhorn and puts a gun to his head when he refuses to tell him where Phoenix is. Strayhorn confesses that Phoenix threatened to kill his family if he refused to cooperate. He adds that if the agreement is not signed, Novacil's stock plummets, and that's where they'd make money. He also admits that he was setting up an offshore account when the alarm went off. It was Phoenix who forced him to do that. Beckett and his dad observe that armed men are headed their way. His dad hands him a rifle and guides him to a tunnel. As the men get closer to the location, Franklin receives a call from Rosenberg, who convinces him that he now has enough evidence to prove that Beckett is innocent. He explains that Strayhorn had already confessed. Reluctantly, Franklin ordered his men to stand down. Loud gunshots follow, and Franklin's men are killed one at a time. Beckett, who managed to get to the other side, hears the gunshots and returns back to his dad's house. His dad goes back in and grabs a rifle. At this point, Beckett and his dad are looking for the assassin without them knowing that she spots them. She refuses to pull the trigger. Instead, she creates a distraction to run away. Beckett and his dad are determined to catch her alive as she's the only one that can help Beckett clear his name. The father and son get to catch up with her. When she's about to shoot Beckett, his dad aims at her gun, and Beckett rushes toward her. To his surprise, it's a woman. Beckett and his dad thought that they were up against a man the entire time. Beckett and Mifune engage in a fight. She's equipped with different types of weapons, but she's also an expert in hand-to-hand combat. Beckett is unable to contain her. At one point, she gets to trap Beckett and puts him to the ground. Helpless, Beckett is at her mercy. She grabs a handgun to finish him, but his father manages to sneak up behind her and points a rifle at her. It's over. She gives up. In Vancouver, Rosenberg goes to Phoenix's place. He lets himself in and discovers some incriminating evidence, including several tickets to an island. He manages to convince a boat operator to take him to an island that has a helipad. When he questioned the wounded Russian, he mentioned having a hard time hearing due to the sound of a helicopter. Franklin receives a call from Beckett. Beckett tells him that the suspect is with him and that she's willing to cooperate. Franklin advises him to stay as his second team is already en route. Clover finds out who Mifune is and her background. They just need to find a connection between her and Diaz. Franklin confirms to Beckett that they have evidence to support that Mifune was in and out of Costa Verde on the day of the attack. Clover also shares that framing an American for the death of Diaz was to make sure that the trade agreement was off. If that had happened, Novasil's stock would have plummeted, and Phoenix would have made tons of money with the help of Strayhorn. Mifune is headed to a maximum security prison. Beckett suggests that since she was tasked to kill him, they let Phoenix believe that she got him. Beckett adds that Phoenix framing him is a way for him to take revenge. Beckett reported him to their superior when he witnessed Phoenix killing an innocent woman during a recon. Mifune calls Phoenix and tells him that she is Beckett. Phoenix sent her the address where to deliver Beckett. Franklin's plans the execution while Beckett's dad volunteers to be the sniper. Rosenberg manages to sneak his way into a residence on an island. He grabs a family portrait and is surprised to see Donald South with his family. Phoenix then takes him down, and a fight ensues. When the smoke clears, Rosenberg is tied to a chair, and South comes out. He explains why he's behind the plan. He knows that once the merge is completed, he'd not be needed anymore as the CEO will come from the more prominent company that will purchase his. He also admits that framing Beckett was Phoenix's idea. Mifune buzzes in to deliver Beckett. The rest of the team, including his father, are in the position in case the plan goes south. She confesses that she was contracted to kill Phoenix's brother. She killed his nephew in the crossfire. Beckett and Phoenix are now facing to face. Phoenix demands that they get inside. Franklin then orders to extract Beckett and eliminate Phoenix. Once they are inside, Phoenix shoots Mifune. Beckett then gets rid of his handcuffs and fights Phoenix. Phoenix gets the better of the exchanges and holds him hostage. He demands a chopper and $10 million, or he kills Beckett. Beckett's dad is given the go signal to take the shot, but he's hesitant. He is still haunted by a fatal miscalculation in the past. When the tension rises higher, Beckett assures his dad that he trusts him. He knows that his dad is looking at him from his rifle scope. This gives him the courage to go for the kill. Phoenix is killed. South tries to escape, but Mifune gets a hold of him and beats him to the ground. The movie ends with Beckett approaching his dad. His dad admits that it was the most challenging shot he had to take. They share a hug and agree to get some cold beer. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.